Hello, hello, hello. I am author and entrepreneur, the cerebral palsy vigilante, Zachary Fennell, and you are watching Making of a Memoir, my video series documenting the hard work involved in writing and self-publishing a book. If you've been following along, you know for a while now I've pretty much exited the writing phase and I've been in the editing phase. A phase that started with copy editing, which was going back through, especially because I had written the manuscript a bit out of order, going back through, making sure, adding details, certain places, removing them from other places to prevent becoming repetitive and such. And then after I finished with the copy editing, the next question or the next part became line editing. When I transitioned from copy editing to line editing, I wrote out this note for me to keep me on track. What comes after copy editing? Line edit with Word, which you saw I did using Word's editor features. What seemed like a daunting task because they're 420 pages, but I figured out a way to break it down to make it less daunting. Was instead of focusing on a number of pages a day, I ended up just putting a certain amount of time every day to do that. And then once I finish with the Words editor, is you've been watching me over the past few episodes, I recorded an audio version for James, who's one of my beta readers who did the marathon with me and made a lot of the journey in my upcoming book possible. And the idea to create an audio version for James was because James liked audiobooks, and I kind of brainstormed to myself, okay, what's the exact system for that? Do I have Word read through first and then I read, which is exactly what I did. I had Word read things to me, I caught mistakes that way, and then I read out loud, recording the voice, and went from there. And I found mistakes that way. All in all, I feel like the process worked, and now I'm at the beta. That last exclamation point here on this note: get format requests. Spend money for paper 8.5 by 11 copies. So you saw from breaking down that note, I created that audio format with James in mind. I have that audio format in Google Drive and given him access to it so he can take a listen through all the chapters, offer his feedback. And here is where it's kind of interesting, self-publishing. You're going to have people insist that you get a professional editor. My beta readers are sort of beta readers slash editors. I hoping they're going to catch some errors that I might have missed. I still have one more trick up my sleeve for editing before I publish the book for the world to hopefully read. So this isn't the end all be all. I just wanted to get some feedback on the book, because at this point I feel like I've done everything I could possibly do to get this project ready to be published. There are certain thoughts I have on the project where I'm like, am I too casual in my tone? Is that casual tone all of a sudden distracting from the story? Certain elements I want to make. I, of course, living through it being a memoir, living through these experiences, I know everything I'm talking about pretty much. But isn't someone who doesn't know everything, who wasn't uh, in the center of everything, are they going to know everything? So the clarity of, is the story clear? Do all these individuals I make up, does everything fit together in a clear fashion for the reader? So those are just those that, the clarity of the story, the is my casual tone of voice a distraction at certain points in the story. Of course, despite everything I did in line editing, there's still gonna, I'm sure there are errors that got by me that someone else is going to notice. And then I'm also interested just to get perspectives, different perspectives to read the book. Someone with cerebral palsy to read it who has more cerebral palsy to a more significant point than I do. Getting her feedback on it, getting the feedback from an athlete's perspective. My friend Mike Manazzi, who has been a national champion in race walking and represented Team USA in international competitions race walking. What's his perspective on the story from an athlete's point of view? I also have feedback that I'm going to be getting from James, I mentioned, and another pivotal individual who made a lot of this possible, Nate. Without Nate joining me and doing the half marathon, without Nate was the friend who joined me for that first official mile I did since elementary school. Nate played a crucial role because as he saw the 5Ks and the races we did as an opportunity to hang out, and so as opposed and allowing me to overcome that obstacle of how am I going to get to races I don't drive. And so getting his feedback, getting James's feedback with the role they played, maybe they remember something I didn't, or there's I'm curious to get their feedback. I ordered just now before recording this, I ordered paper copies, that 8.5 by 11 that I referred to in the note, copies for both my parents to take a look at and read. And so that next step is giving these individuals the chance to read the book, especially during the holiday season. Obviously my goal back in January, I mentioned my goal was to have this book released in the third quarter of this year. That didn't happen. Now I'm at a point where I'm looking at a release for the first quarter of 2022. I've given each individual, I've asked them if they could get me feedback by mid-January, giving them plenty of time to listen, review the PDF document, or actual flip through the paper copy of the manuscript and give me feedback, which will then allow me to move forward and figure out what to do next. Do I need to make these changes? Because ultimately I feel like I could sit around and make changes here, and make changes there, and make changes here, and make changes there, and never get the book published because I'm so busy being in my head with the manuscript. So that's why at this point I'm just like, I have to take a step back. I have others, give them the chance to give their feedback. And so that's what I think making of a memoir, until I get that feedback, making of a memoir is going to kind of hit a pause. I will continue to provide other content here to my YouTube channel. I have had some ideas in mind and just making the book that priority. I haven't had the chance to execute on my other ideas. So now, as I wait, I will. I mean, there are other things I can do with the book as well while I wait. And maybe we'll cover some of that in a future making of a memoir. But yeah, whether that's future making of a memoirs or whether it's other content unrelated to the book, make sure you are receiving notifications of when those videos go up by making sure you are subscribed to my YouTube channel and have rung the bell icon to receive said notifications. Continue to encourage me on this self-publishing journey by hitting the thumbs up icon down below. I kind of threw a lot out there in today's video, going over what I'm hoping to get feedback wise. If there are questions you have about anything I covered today, ask those in the comments. I will get back to you. And until next time, remember, don't blend in. Blend out.